You know those tiny choices you make every day? They're basically planting the seeds for who you're going to be in 10 years. So, in this explainer, we're going to break down two really powerful habits you can build in your 20s that will absolutely set you up for incredible success in your 30s.
Think about your 20s. It kind of feels like everyone's on the same track, right? You graduate, you get a job, you're all sort of moving in the same direction. But then you hit your 30s, and all of a sudden, the paths split. And they split dramatically. Some people are just soaring, while others feel like they're stuck treading water. Our source for today calls this the Great Divergence.
So, where are we getting this from? Well, the insights today come from an IT manager in his 30s who saw this divergence happen right in front of his eyes. And his core idea is simple, but it's really profound. The gap between people who invest in themselves in their 20s and those who don't, well, it becomes this massive chasm that is incredibly hard to cross later on. Okay, so let's really dig into this performance gap. What is it, exactly? And why does it matter so much? Because the stakes here are way higher than you might think. Once this gap opens up, it is a serious uphill battle to try and close it. So what's causing this big split? A huge piece of the puzzle is how work itself changes. In your 20s, you're often given these clear, routine tasks, and you're judged on how well you get them done. But when you get to your 30s, the whole rulebook gets rewritten. It's not just about doing anymore. It's about thinking. It's about leading. So to really win in this new game, you've got to prepare for a fight on two different fronts. Let's start with the first one, building up your intellectual arsenal. And this is about more than just being smart. It's about having the knowledge, the frameworks to tackle really complex problems. And this, right here, is where the rules of the game truly change. Success is no longer measured by how efficiently you can check boxes off a list. It's now about your ability to think strategically, to plan effectively, and, this is the big one, to actually persuade other people that your vision is the right one. So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, it means your value isn't just about what you can do anymore. It's about what you can propose. You're expected to come up with new ideas and sell them to the people at the top, the presidents, the executives. Okay, so that brings us to what a great proposal even looks like. See, a great idea by itself, it's not going to cut it. You have to back it up with cold, hard evidence. That means pulling from books you've read, citing reports, using data, showing that your idea isn't just some random gut feeling. And this slide just lays it all out, plain and simple. The unprepared pitch, based on a whim, no evidence, it gets shot down instantly. But the prepared pitch, the one that's armed with evidence from that intellectual arsenal you've been building, that builds trust. It shows you the real deal. It proves you've done your homework. And our source is super clear on this. The consequences of not building this foundation are serious. If you slack on this in your 20s, you'll get to your 30s and find yourself pitching these weak, unsupported ideas that just get dismissed. This is exactly how careers just grind to a halt. But listen, a powerful intellect is only half the battle. Think about it. You can't run the latest, most powerful software on a computer that's falling apart, right? Well, it's this same idea. To really perform at your absolute peak, that mental horsepower needs a strong physical foundation to run on. And that brings us to our second front. Now, the strategy here is just brilliantly simple and super effective. It's all built around what's known as the Big Three in the fitness world. These are exercises that give you the most bang for your buck, time-wise, because they work the body's biggest muscle groups. And that kicks off this awesome hormonal response that helps with everything from your metabolism to how sharp you feel upstairs. So, what are they? The bench press, the squat, and the deadlift. But here's the key thing our source points out. This isn't about becoming a Hulk and lifting crazy heavy weights. The real investment you make in your 20s is just mastering the correct, safe form. That builds a foundation you can rely on for a lifetime of injury-free strength. Yeah, let's be super clear on this. The goal is not to become some hardcore bodybuilder. The whole point is to build a habit that you can actually stick with. Our source recommends a not too serious approach. Just 2 or 3 focused sessions a week. That's really all it takes to build and maintain this powerful physical base. And this slide really gets to the pragmatic benefits. Our source is very direct about the payoff. Looking healthy, looking energetic, and put together gives you a real, tangible edge. Not just at work, but in your personal life too. It's a subtle thing, for sure, but man, it is a powerful part of the game. So, how do we bring these two things together? How do you take that intellectual arsenal and your physical foundation and just win the decade?
Well, the secret sauce here is the incredible, almost magical power of compounding. We're talking about 10 years of small, consistent investments, reading a few chapters a week, hitting the gym a couple of times. It doesn't sound like much day to day, does it? But stretch that over a decade, wow, the payoff is just huge. It's exponential.
And this right here is the main event. This is the big takeaway. These two habits are not separate things. They are deeply connected. You can have the sharpest mind in the world, but if your body is running on empty, you are never, ever going to hit your full potential. To win the long game, you have to be strong on both fronts at the same time. So we'll just end with this thought. Whether you realize it or not, you're laying the foundation for your 30s right now, today. The habits you have, the choices you're making, those are the blueprints for the person you're going to become. So the question is, what do your blueprints look like?